Welcome back to FanPark Live Goal Review. Manchester City 3, Arsenal Football Club 1. Many Gooners expected to be beaten, but not only were they beaten on the scoreline, a wonderful hat-trick from Aguero. They were absolutely ripped apart. Not a single attempt on goal in the second half from Arsenal. Not one that was on target anyway. A limp, flaccid performance from Unai Emery and his men. Denis Suarez made very little impact when coming on. Aubameyang, where was he? Lacazette, no idea where he was as well. We want to hear from Gooners. We want to hear from Man City fans as well. The title race is nowhere near over. It's getting so exciting. And the Gooners are back where they belong in 6th position. 22-game unbeaten run this season, sitting in 6th. I'm joined in the studio by Adam Childs and our general producer in Abs, who's come in today for Devo, who bottled it. I'll come to you first, Adam. You're in 6th position.
Yeah.
22-game unbeaten run this season. Do you feel like you were 11 points in front of Manchester United 6 weeks ago? You are now a point behind them. You're sitting in 6th place. Is your season falling apart?
Let me just let you not know. Enjoy the show while it lasts, you stinky bums. All of you in here are stinky bums, all right? Let me let you know that. Because the season's not falling apart. It wasn't Arsenal fans that I really heard gassing up the 22 games unbeaten. And now all of a sudden there's other fans that are saying, oh, Arsenal fans came out here and said this is it. You lot made more of it than we did. Yeah? So let's just get that.
No,
yeah,
absolutely.
That's exactly what happened.
Nonsense.
That is exactly what happened.
Nonsense.
You lot made it more of it than we did. This guy in there was telling me that Arsenal are title contenders.
Your favourite.
And when I denied it, he said no.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying, how do you feel about your season? But I saw, especially your very prominent, famous Arsenal fans on the old Twitter sphere, they were going on about that 22-game unbeaten run like they were the new Invincibles.
Yeah, but obviously...
Yeah, but what? They did,
listen,
right?
After not being used to winning for so long, I think we can be forgiven, or they can be forgiven for getting a little bit carried away.
That's fine, and that's absolutely fine. My point is, though, after that 22-game unbeaten run, after starting so well, 11 points in front of Manchester United 6 weeks ago, are you not concerned with how your season is starting to pan out? That's a genuine question.
I'm not.
Why?
Because I told
Why?
everybody in the videos I did for you, on the 5th Official, anywhere I could say, I said, when this inevitably stops and when Emery inevitably starts losing, I don't want people to start having a panic attack. Manchester City are a very good team. Just because they're second to Liverpool currently, it doesn't stop the fact that they still have a world-class squad. To get beaten by them when we have players like Iwobi and when we have average players in our squad, to me, it's not a shock. I don't want to defend it. I don't like to see my team lose, but it's not surprising to see us lose to Manchester City.
But it's not just about Man City today, is it?
Okay, but
you got beat by West Ham a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and we also beat Chelsea. Yeah, and we also played well against Liverpool, who are league leaders. And we also...
You got beat 5-1 by Liverpool.
But we also drew against them at home. So they have been
good.
That
was months ago.
Where are you sitting?
But
there have been good
us. Where are you sitting?
There have been good results and there have been bad results. That's what I'm saying. But the fact is, improvement is not all about figures and moving forward in terms of that sense. But it's also to do with performances. And we, as Arsenal fans, as far as I'm concerned, we wanted to see better performances, and we've seen that.
And you did.
This is a solid foundation.
Let me go back to my point. I'll take any salt out of it. You started off the season, and they were definitely better in performances, no doubt. My point is, and I'll say it again, the way your season is starting to pan out.
Where did you expect Arsenal to finish this season?
I expect you to finish outside the top 4, 5th or 6th. However, let me go back to the point. The way you are starting to lose games. Look, you beat Chelsea. Yes, you did. You were brilliant in that game. You had an uplift for that game. But your results in recent times, a 12-point swing with a failing Manchester United side, I think that should be concerning for Arsenal fans, because that improvement we saw early on is dwindling away. Now, did I expect you to catch up with Spurs and with the other top 4, with City and with Liverpool? No, I didn't. But you were keeping pace with them, but you're falling further and further behind. That would concern me if I was an Arsenal fan. I don't understand why it doesn't. You're not performing well at the moment.
We don't have a good squad. I don't know what you want. You just said to me you expected us to finish 5th or 6th. One of the teams that would inevitably lose out in that would be either Chelsea or Manchester United. Manchester United, who have spent how much money in the past year, couple of years, who finished second last season. Chelsea, who were Premier League winners 2 seasons ago. I don't know what you all expect. We were always going to fall away. Always.
Okay. I think you should be expecting, as Arsenal fans, the performances you got in the first third of the season.
Yeah.
For me, a light years better than what we're seeing now.
Okay.
So I want you to, an Arsenal fan, to explain why, one, that doesn't concern you, and two, why is it starting to go backwards?
I'm not saying it doesn't concern me. I'm just saying I don't want people to believe that this is the norm this season. I just want to set that narrative straight from the very beginning. This has not been the norm against big teams this season. That's all I want to say. Is it concerning that we or the performances aren't as good? Even then, you could probably say no, because Chelsea fell off the last couple of seasons. This is a very tough period of games. We know that many foreign managers that come to play in the Premier League, they say, the games come thick and fast. Like, it's natural to have a tail off towards the end of the season. And Arsenal, in our squad, have always been known to fall off come like February times. That's where our seasons usually derail, and we pick up towards the end of the season. Do I want to see Emery build on that? Yes. Is it something that he needs to address immediately? Yes. But am I concerned, and do I think that this is something that is a big, wider issue, and has it been a norm this season? No, I don't think it has.
Okay. I accept the fact that it's going to take time to move post-Wenger. It appears that, again, this stage of the season, that end of January, February time, it's falling apart again. In 12 months' time, we're asking an opinion here, in 12 months' time, if this happens again, when Emery's at 18 months, how then would you feel?
Then I would begin to grow increasingly concerned. Because like I said to you, he gets 2 years slander-free, and that's heading towards the end of his 2 years. So at that point, after 2 years, I'm like, okay, Emery, you've had 2 years. That's 4 transfer windows. I want to see what you're on.
Before I jump to Abs, someone just pointed out a statistic here. Arsenal have spent, over the last 3 seasons, 300 million. Man United have spent 340 million. So just in terms of the spending, you're only 40 million pounds shy of Manchester United. And that's why I pointed out, for me, if you look at that it was an 11-point gap. That's now a 12-point swing in Manchester United's favour. I would be, whether you're concerned or not is one thing, I would be frustrated as an Arsenal fan. Abs, from your perspective, you're sitting in 4th place now as a Chelsea fan. Are Arsenal done in that race for you now, or do you think that Arsenal can still turn it round and push for a top 4 position?
Personally, I do not believe that Arsenal will challenge the top 4, but realistic is still Premier League, unfortunately, and every game matters, so you never know how it's going to end up. But the way they look today, and actually the way they looked in the past few games, subpar. I mean, apart from Chelsea games, Arsenal beat them. It's not really convincing. Out of the current contenders who are stable and are on the roll is unfortunately United. It's a matter of fact. You have to be looking at the games. You have to see how the team is performing behind the manager, how the football is playing. United is the current contender for the 4th spot. But again, it's Premier League.
Even though Arsenal are a point behind United. Even though Arsenal are only 1 point.
Oh yeah,
I'm 3 points away from you.
Yeah.
But it makes sense.
But it's about but I'm speaking perspectively how the team currently looks. Even as a Chelsea fans, we can beat the strongest of the team, but then lose to someone at the very bottom as easy. And
I think it's about looking at trajectory, and that's what I do when it's coming to look at predictions. Everyone can be wrong with a prediction. Everybody can, from the most decorated professional pundit right down to lowly fans like us. But when you look at the trajectory, the direction Man United are going in compared to Arsenal, and with Chelsea, to be fair with Chelsea, you don't know at the moment. It is up and down. You get performances like yesterday against Huddersfield, and then it's night and day to what you're seeing against Bournemouth. And I think there's some issues there with the manager. Arsenal, I personally do think they still have an opportunity of making it back into the top 4, but something needs to be rectified. But I think that the squad needs to look at itself, because some of the defending today, some of the creativity today, yes, and they did very well against Chelsea, but destroyed against Manchester United, just beaten, not comfortably, but beaten well by West Ham, where you didn't create too much. It wasn't like you were knocking, for me, you weren't knocking the door down. Absolutely ripped apart by Liverpool. That's something you've got to start to leave behind. It's a lot of defeats in multiple competitions you've had in a very short period of time. That damage to your confidence needs to be rectified, and it needs to be rectified quickly. Otherwise, your season is going to dwindle away, and it's just going to be like every year for the last decade under Wenger, where you pretty much stop. There's nothing worth playing for post-March. I don't see, again, I'm not throwing out the result. It would concern me if it was my club. New manager or not.
What do you want to see happen?
What I want to
In
see
the
happen.
situation Arsenal are in, what would you like to see happen?
I want to
as an Arsenal
see.
fan?
I want to see more energy.
Okay.
I want to see more enthusiasm.
Which
I
there
want
has
to see
been.
more work rate
Which
from the
there has
players.
been.
Again, I'm not seeing it. I want to see more passion and drive. I also want to see players stand up and take accountability. I saw too many ghosts on the football pitch today. I really did. People just not for me. Yeah, you're playing one of the best teams in Europe, but they just looked. It looked. Arsenal fans were talking before the game about I expect us to lose. So I'm like worried. I looked at the Arsenal players and saw that from them today. It was a case of, you know what, 3-1 ain't that bad against City, and that's not the attitude that I've come to. Maybe we have come to expect that from Arsenal now, but when I look at your history and your heritage, you're a much bigger and better club than that. The way you got beat by Manchester United, the way you were beaten by West Ham, the way you were beaten by Liverpool, I'm not seeing a proper Arsenal team in terms of the attitude and the application on the field. So that's what I'd want to see change, because I think you'll then yield better results.
Okay.
You have less cup games than, to say, Chelsea. Shouldn't you guys do better?
Why?
Chelsea. How many cup games?
I think, and you know what? It's funny because on I think it was last week when we watched Manchester United play. I was listening to you lot talk, and I was just thinking, Manchester United fans are so spoiled. They're so bloody spoiled. You're complaining about your squad when it is miles better than Arsenal's, as is Chelsea's. So what are you both talking about?
What do you mean? Explain what you mean.
Both of
What do you
Chelsea. You're saying Arsenal have less games than Chelsea, so they should automatically be doing better than Chelsea.
What's that got to
I
do?
did not say automatic.
That's what you just said. That's essentially what you're
Should you
saying.
not consider, Arsenal doing better than
No.
they are right now?
No.
What has that got to do with Man United fans being spoilt?
Because I can't remember who it was that called in, but someone else called in. They were talking about how Manchester United squad is not good enough. It's blah blah blah.
To what?
And
Not
I
good
was
enough to what?
I don't know. They just said it wasn't good enough.
What Man United fans are talking about is that our squad's good enough to make top 4.
Of course,
our squad's not good enough to win
your
the
squad
Premier
is
League.
good. You know what? Maybe it's not good. It's better than Arsenal's. Put it that
Okay.
way, right? So to hear Man United fans say that, I'm just thinking, bruv, there are Arsenal fans that would kill to have your team right now.
Yep.
So all of this talk about because we've got less games, we should be doing better. That's rubbish. That's absolute rubbish. Because
Do you not think
our squad
that
is not
more
good
rest
enough,
is
and it will take a long time to address all of the problems that there are with this current squad. A very long time.
Good point, well made. Javerne, thank you for capturing that.